Hello everyone and welcome to PeopleSoft channel. Today we are going to discuss about how to set up Gmail as your SMTP server for your PeopleSoft system in 2023. So we know that in PeopleSoft system we can send email using people code with the help of send email functions or with the help of the delivered application package program. However, for sending email, we need to have an SMTP server set up for our PeopleSoft system. So today we will see for our PeopleSoft system how to set up Gmail as your SMTP server so that with the help of this server we can send emails to the required user. Alright, so that's the agenda for today guys. This is Samir and without further delay, let's start the discussion. So we are going to follow this 9-step process to complete our Gmail SMTP server setup. Alright, so let's start with step 1. So step 1 is enable the bridge adapter network mode in your VirtualBox. So if we are using the Oracle VirtualBox Manager on your personal laptop to access PeopleSoft system, you need to go to this settings icon. Inside the settings, we have this network options and then we have this attached to options. Now we have multiple options here and it is possible that by default for you this setting will be host only adapter. So we need to change this from host only adapter to the bridged adapter. So why is the case? Because in order to send email, the PeopleSoft system should have an internet connection, and in case of host only adapter, the internet connection would not be available. So we will change this to bridged adapter so that the PeopleSoft system will have access to the internet connection. That's step 1. Click on OK and then restart your PeopleSoft system. Now the next few steps will be about your Gmail account. So the second step is enable the two-factor authentication on your Gmail account. So we have created this brand new Gmail account for this demo purpose. In order to enable the two-factor authentication, we need to go to this icon and we need to go to manage your Google account. Here on the left side, let's go to this security settings, and in this security settings we have this section which says how you sign in to Google. Inside this section we have the two-step verification, and as you can see right now the verification is off, so we need to turn it on. So let's click on this. Let's click on get started. So this is the email ID which we will set up, and we will receive the PeopleSoft emails from this email ID. Let me provide the password. So we need to provide the phone number. So let's provide the phone number and let's click on next. So let's provide the OTP for verification. And finally, it is asking whether it should turn on the two-step verification. So let's click on turn on. And the process is completed. So if you see now, we have the two-step verification on since this time. Alright, so we are done with step 2. So step 3 is add an application to your Gmail account and get the password for that particular application. So in the same section where we have two-step verification, let's click on this two-step verification option, and then let's scroll down, and at the bottom we have the app password section. Alright, so let's click on this icon and let's give some application name. So let's say it is a PeopleSoft dummy SMTP server. Alright, so let's create it, and now we have received a password for this application. So please note this password, because I think you won't be able to see this password the next time. So let's note this password. Let's say password from Gmail app and this one. So let's click on done. So now we have created this application inside our Gmail account and we have received a password for the same. So step 4 is download the Gmail certificates. So we need these certificates into PeopleSoft system so that PeopleSoft system will be able to communicate with the Gmail service. So this is my Gmail account. So let's click on this lock icon and we have this connection it's secure option. Let's click on that and it says certificate is valid. Alright, so let's click on this external going arrow and then we have the certificate viewer from Google. Alright, let's click on details, and as you can see we have multiple certificates present here. So we need these two certificates. The first one is the root certificate and the second one is the GTS CA certificate. So let's click on this root certificate and let's click on export. So I have created a folder called as Gmail certificates. So let me save this root certificate inside this folder. Similarly, let's click on this GTS CA1C3 certificate and let's click on export. So let's save the second certificate as well. So now I have both of these certificates available in my system. So now we are done with all the actions that we need to do from Gmail side. Now let's complete the remaining actions that we need to do from PeopleSoft side. So our next step, which is step 5, is to upload the Gmail certificates to the PeopleSoft digital certificate sections. So we just downloaded the two Gmail certificates, right? So let's upload those certificates into PeopleSoft system. So let's go to People Tools, Security, Security Objects, and then Digital Certificates. So here we have all the digital certificates that are currently available in our PeopleSoft system. So let's add the two certificates that we have downloaded. So let's add the root certificate first. So this is the root certificates. Let's click on edit and this is the certificate information. Alright. So let's click on add. Let's say the type is root CA. Let's give the alias as Equifax Secure CA. So here in the Azure alias, let's click on this icon so that it will pick up the same name, and then let's click on add root. So here we need to provide the certificate data that we have in this notepad. So let's copy the entire data and let's paste it. Let's click on OK. So we added the first certificate. Similarly, let's add the second certificate. For second certificate, the type will be remote, alias will be Google Internet Authority. Issuer alias, let's select one. Let's select the Equifax Secure CA as issuer alias, and then let's click on import. So similarly, let's open the second certificate in Notepad. Let's copy the certificate content and let's paste it here. Let's click on OK. And now we are done with adding the two certificates into our PeopleSoft system. So the next step, that is step 6, is to encrypt the app password that we obtain in step number 3. So remember that we obtained this app password from Gmail when we created the PeopleSoft application in the Gmail account. Now we cannot provide this password as it is to PeopleSoft system because PeopleSoft system encrypts and decrypts the password with the help of the utility called as PS Cipher. It's a Java-based program. So if you have access to that utility, then please encrypt this password using that utility. However, if you do not have direct access to that utility, don't worry. We can use PIA to encrypt the password, which will eventually use the same utility. So to encrypt the password, let's go to People Tools, Integration Broker, Configuration, and then Gateways. So let's click for the local node, and now we have the local gateway as you can see. So let's go to Gateway Setup Properties. Let's provide the user ID and password. Okay, and now we are inside the node configuration. Let's click on Advanced Properties page. And now finally we have the password encryption section. So this functionality here is using the same utility PS Cipher that we discussed a moment before. So don't worry about the integration broker. We are not doing anything with respect to integration. We came inside this integration gateway just to use this password encryption utility. Alright, so let's encrypt this password. Let's copy this. Let's paste it here. Let's confirm the password and let's click on encrypt. So this is the encrypted password which we need to use in our PeopleSoft system. So let me note this down. I will say encrypted password, and then this is our encrypted password. So step number 7 is to add this encrypted password to the application server configuration file as well as the process scheduler configuration files. So this is the email ID and the encrypted password. So let me complete the email ID. It should be @gmail.com. Now we need to configure this email and password into the configuration file of application server and the configuration file of process scheduler. So in your PeopleSoft directory, the configuration file for application server is this one. It is called as psappsrv.cfg. So let's open this file, and in this file we have all the configurations that are required by your application server. So let's search for SMTP in this file, and then if you see, this is the SMTP settings for your PeopleSoft application server. So in the SMTP settings, the SMTP server should be smtp.gmail.com. This indicates that we are going to use the Gmail server for SMTP. Next, we need to make change at this parameter, which is SMTP sender. So here we need to provide the email ID that we have created for sending emails. So this is our email ID. Let's copy this. Let's erase the old email ID, or you may not have any existing email ID. So let's provide this email ID. Similarly, if you scroll down, the SMTP use SSL parameter should be set to Y. Alright. And finally, you need to configure the two parameters, which is SMTP username and SMTP user password. If you do not have this parameter present in your current file, then you can manually add these parameters. So the SMTP username will be our email ID. So let me copy our email ID and let me paste it. And the SMTP user password. So this will be the encrypted password that we have received for our application. So let me copy this and then let me paste the encrypted password. So let's save the file. We are done with the changes to the PS app server configuration file. Similarly, let's make changes to the process scheduler configuration file. So the file name is psprcs.cfg. Let's open this file and let's find for SMTP. So here is the SMTP settings, and then let's provide the SMTP username and SMTP user password. So this is the email ID, and similarly this is the encrypted password. Alright, and please make sure that you set this SMTP use SSL parameter to Y. And let's save the changes to the file. The next step, which is the 8th step, is to shut down the application server, reload your application server configuration file, and then boot back the application server. So why we are performing this step is because we have made changes to the app server configuration file. Hence, it's a good idea to shut down, reload, and then switch on the application server. Let's type sudo space su space dash space psadm2. So we are into the admin utility. Let's type ps admin, and this will show us the admin menu. So let's select one for application server. Let's select one, administer a domain. Let's select the domain. And let's select the second option, which is domain shutdown menu. Let's select one normal shutdown. So let's wait for the application server to complete the shutdown. And now we have received the message, all domain processes have been stopped. Now what we will do is we will reload the app server configuration file. Alright, so let's select option 4, configure this domain. Let's select yes, we want to continue. Alright, so let's select option 14, which is load config as shown. So what this option will do is it will load the configuration files to which we have made the changes. So let's select option 14 and let's enter. Now we got the message domain configuration complete. So now we need to boot the application server. So let's select one, boot this domain. Let's select one, serial boot. So we are doing this process for application server. You can follow the similar process for process scheduler. And we got the message 16 processes started. That means the application server is now up and running and there is no error message. Alright, so let's click on queue for quit. Let's queue for quit. And as discussed, you can select option 2 for process scheduler and follow the similar process. Alright, so we have done all the hard work and now we are left with the final step, which is step 9 to test the email functionality. So if you have written your people code with the send mail functionality, you can use that to test the email functionality. Otherwise, we can use the notify functionality from one of the delivered PeopleSoft page. So let me show you one such page. So let's go to People Tools, then Workflow, then Notification, and then Notification Templates. Alright, let's search for any template. Let's take this template for example. And now we have this notify button. So you might see this notify button in many of the delivered components and you can use that to test this functionality. So when you click on notify button, it opens this template using which we can send email. Alright, so let's provide the address for email recipient. So this is one of the demo email which I have created. Let's provide some subject. Let's say testing the PS email functionality. Sorry about that. And let's give the message. So this is my dummy email inbox. And now if we click on apply, then the PeopleSoft system will send an email to this dummy inbox using the email address which we have configured. So let's click on apply. Okay, and then if we come here, you can see we have received the email from the PeopleSoft SMTP server. So we have received the email from this email ID, which is nothing but the email which we have configured. And finally, we have received the email from our PeopleSoft system. So this is how you can set up Gmail as your SMTP server for your PeopleSoft system. Alright guys, and that's it for today's episode. If you found this content helpful, then please like this video. And if you are interested into such PeopleSoft content, then please subscribe to PeopleSoft channel. See you in the next episode. Thank you.